Most people approach personal growth like they're trying to solve a problem. But here's the thing, if you're focused on fixing what's right in front of you, you're probably reinforcing the very pattern that created it. Today, I want to walk you through a shift that surprises a lot of people, but once you see it, it will change how you approach growth, challenge, and even everyday decision making. When something isn't working in your life, what's the first thing you do? If you're like most people, you look for what's wrong. You analyze it, talk about it, maybe even try to reframe it. You want to feel better, change your behavior, or shift how someone else is showing up. But here's what's usually happening beneath the surface. You're reacting to the result of a pattern that's already been running. And trying to solve a problem from that place is like repainting a cracked wall without looking at what's underneath. You might smooth it over temporarily, but if the foundation hasn't shifted, that crack's going to show up again, just in a different room. The perception that drives this is, I need to fix this, then I'll feel better. But the truth is, you're already feeling an emotional state, and that state is generating your next thoughts, choices, and actions. So the question isn't, how do I solve this? It's, what state am I in that's generating this outcome? That's what needs to be trained. Let's take a relationship example. Say someone I worked with had a pattern of shutting down in conflict. Every time tension came up with their partner, they got quiet, withdrawn, didn't speak their needs. So they started reading books on communication. They practiced scripts, wrote notes in advance, tried to be more open and say the right thing in the moment. But here's what didn't change. Underneath all that preparation, they were still training fear, still bracing for rejection, still perceiving conflict as danger. Their emotional state hadn't shifted. So even when they said the right thing, their body was still tense, their tone defensive, their partner still felt the disconnect. This is what happens when we try to fix the behavior without shifting the state driving it. The nervous system is still reinforcing the old pattern, even if the surface looks different. Here's a powerful distinction. What you're experiencing right now, your results, your relationships, your emotions in any given moment, that's the echo of your past training. It's not the engine, it's not the source. The argument you just had, that didn't start 5 minutes ago. That started years back when a specific perception formed, got tied to an emotion, and was reinforced over and over. So if you're trying to fix this moment without addressing the pattern underneath, you're treating the echo as the engine, which means even if you solve it, it's coming back because it was never about the specific situation. It was about the state being practiced in your system day after day. That's what gets to shift. This is where a lot of people stop. They learn to manage their symptoms. They avoid conflict. They meditate when anxious. They do breath work to calm down. They journal after a hard day. All of that can be useful. But if you're only using those tools after you're triggered, you're still training reaction. You're not building a new default, you're just building a patch. Now, what if instead you train the emotional state you want to live from before the situation even arises? That's a completely different approach. Let's say you start your morning intentionally practicing certainty, not just thinking about it, actually feeling it in your body, letting it shape your breath, your posture, your focus. Then when a difficult conversation shows up that day, you're not reacting from old patterning, you're choosing from a trained state. That's how change sticks. Because you're not trying to fix your triggers, you're training what gets triggered in the first place. If this is landing, hit subscribe. I drop videos each week to help you train your inner world with structure and clarity, so you stop reacting to life and start intentionally shaping it. When you train from a problem, your nervous system stays stuck in reaction. You're trying to outrun what you don't like. But when you train from vision, everything changes. Vision isn't about wishful thinking. It's about practicing the internal state of the person you're committed to becoming. So instead of, how do I fix this pattern of shutting down? You ask, what emotional state would I need to train so that openness is my default? Instead of, how do I stop procrastinating? You ask, what would presence feel like right now? And how can I train that? Because when you choose your state, you change your next thought, which shifts your next action, which creates your next result. This is how you build alignment, not through force, but through training your perception and nervous system to fire differently. If you're hearing this and thinking, this sounds like me, you're not broken, you've just been training a pattern that no longer serves, and that can change. What's required isn't fixing the moment, it's shifting the state that's shaping the moment. Let's close with something that cuts to the core of this whole shift. The power isn't in controlling life. It's not in solving every issue that arises. It's in mastering the emotional state you bring to life. That's what determines how clearly you see, what thoughts arise, and whether you default to old patterns or generate something new. This is what real self-mastery looks like. Not living symptom-free, but being able to redirect your state even when the pressure's on. Because you've trained it, not once, not just when you feel like it, but consistently. That's the difference between someone who feels stuck and someone who creates their life deliberately. So here's your reflection. What emotional state are you practicing over and over without even realizing it? Is it frustration, uncertainty, resignation, or is it grounded presence, clarity, certainty? Because what you practice is what you become. If you're ready to stop managing symptoms and start training a steady, resilient inner state, I've built a system for that. It integrates perception, emotion, and nervous system. So you don't just understand your patterns, you actually shift them. Links below. I also share weekly practices over on Instagram at Mike Wang Coaching. And if you want more depth, you can join the newsletter below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.